see all you folks and glad to share all the news from my hometown of Grinder Switch, Tennessee. Population, about 200. Never gets no bigger, never gets no smaller. Every time a baby's born, somebody leaves town. Go figure that one for a minute. Lordy, and most everybody down there is poor. Lord, I remember when we were coming along years ago, we were so poor. We would have popcorn for breakfast, drink water for lunch, and swell up for dinner. But we were blessed because we had each other. But you know, when I was a kid, I never had a fairy godmother. Always wanted a fairy godmother. Never had one. Had an uncle I was suspicious of. But speaking of family, they're all doing real well. Cousin Barney just got back from a pleasure trip. Took his mother-in-law to the airport. And he and Pearline, they just celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary. And I know a lot of folks in Grinder Switch think they've been married a lot longer than that because they've just been together for so long. But she wouldn't marry him when he was drinking, and he wouldn't marry her when he was sober. There's another one you gotta think about. I get tired too. And brother, he's doing all right. Just got him a new dog, named him Ember. And brother said Ember is the meanest dog he's ever seen. Even the fleas and the hornets don't bother him. And tear the mailman up, good Lord. Every time brother has to go out there and apologize to that poor little old mailman. So finally he took him and had him fixed. Old Ember took him up there and had him fixed. You know how they say that's gonna help. Mailman shows up again, Ember tears him up again. So there goes brother running out there. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had him fixed, you know. And the mailman said, well, you should have removed his dang teeth. Makes sense to me. But I guess the most interesting news from Grinder Switch this past week has been about Pastor Jenkins. Pastor Jenkins, it seemed, got himself into a little pickle. He had a couple of his pastor brothers went fishing out on the boat on the lake the other day. And it was a beautiful day, and the setting was so beautiful and serene. And Pastor Jenkins told his pastor buddies, he said, you know, this is so beautiful out here, and I think it's a good place for us to cleanse ourselves of our worst sins to each other. And I'm here to tell y'all that I have sinned and I have cheated on cards when we play cards, and I'm sorry. And Pastor Johnson spoke up and he said, well, you know, I've cheated on my taxes. I've cheated on my taxes at least a couple of times, and I'm sorry. So they turn around and look at Pastor Jones, and he's just fishing away, right? And he's not saying anything. And Pastor Johnson said, aren't you going to share with us your worst sin? And still Pastor Jones, he didn't say a thing. Pastor Jenkins said, oh, come on now, it can't be that bad. And Pastor Jones, he dropped his fishing pole and he turned around, he said, well, fellas, I have to say, my worst sin is I like to gossip a lot, and I just can't wait to get off this boat. And that's all the news from Grinder Switch.
Oh yeah, give it up again for Cousin Minnie Pearl, ladies and gentlemen.